Okay, it's a little bit after noon on, I guess it's Wednesday, and I'm in the Armory, and Freeze has been telling me that we should do some live videos. So I'm actually just doing this as a test. I figure during the workday, there's probably not going to be a lot of people that would even want to listen to this. So I'm setting up the camera and recording it and seeing how it goes and just seeing what happens and just getting used to even the idea of doing a live video. So just something we're playing with. We're considering it. We do have some concerns putting video on Facebook because we don't feel that Facebook is very pro-gun, and it would probably cause issues as far as controlling the content and whatever. So actually, I'm gonna step off here real quick. I'm leaving. We're staying live. I'm just leaving the camera on, and I need to grab an oily rag so I need to wipe down this gun real quick. And just give me 1 second. Okay, back. I'm actually not at the cleaning table. I'm over by the reloading bench, so none of the cleaning supplies are over here. So we did publish a podcast. We recorded it yesterday, and it went live today. And if you want to, hear about Four Gun Charlie or anything like that, that would be great. Go check it out. You can go to john1911.com and listen to the podcast or Libsyn or iTunes or all that kind of stuff. Looks like I got a bunch of people now who are actually watching this video. So I'll tell you what, once you guys or gals do me a favor, and why don't you someone post a comment or something so I can even see if this is working or not. I have no idea how this works. So I mean, you can just write the word comment would be fine. We want to see if we can do these videos and interact and just generally tell our story about what's going on. The idea being that we're going to do some stuff from the Armory. Okay, Luis, thanks for letting me know it's working. Richard said something. AJ says it's working. Jeremy, yeah, thank you. It's I guess you're talking about the rifle. Brad, thanks for the comment. Patrick, yes, this is an Ed Brown. Ed Brown 1911. It's 9mm, so it's sup, Matthew. It's Ed Brown government model 9mm. It's cheaper to shoot because we get work ammo 9mm and all that. So, hey Greg, thanks for letting me know it works on your end. Brian, as I said before, this is a Ed Brown 1911. It's hardly shot. We waited a while for this gun, and we really didn't. I haven't even had time to shoot it. I mean, this thing's been sitting for years. So, all right. Well, unless anybody has any questions or anything, I guess maybe we'll wrap this up because I want to stop the video at some point, save the video, see if I can save it to get it off of Facebook. So I don't want to publish content that just disappears on Facebook because I just don't trust them. I don't know if any of you knew this, but about a week and a half ago, I was actually locked out of Facebook for 3 days. Nate, I'm sorry I pointed the gun at you on the camera, but go ahead and duck if I do it again because I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at the camera. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a safe direction. So muzzle awareness, oh God, thanks Sam, I appreciate it. All right. So, you know what? I can't believe there's close to 100 people watching this at 12 noon on a work day. So, but, I work in the Armory. So, I'm going to wrap this up. This is the first live broadcast or live Facebook, whatever from the Armory. We're going to call it Armory Talk or Armory Chat or whatever Freeze was telling me he wanted to call it. And if I'm in the Armory working and it's not too noisy, I mean, just doing some basic maintenance, we're thinking we're going to turn on the camera and while I'm sitting here working, answer questions. Oh, Derek, yeah, thanks for the camo on the blazer. That's actually Rust-Oleum, so we just stripe it. So slacking at work, yeah, I don't even want to. Yeah, I am at work, so luckily I'm not I'm not that worried about it for me. Hopefully you don't get busted. That brings up a good question, Greg. It's lunch. Good luck with the new chat show. Thanks, Greg. That brings up a good question. I mean, I thought I was going to test this during the day. That way it wouldn't be that disruptive and get a lot of people. But, if maybe we should consider doing something at lunch or whatever. Again, it's a learning process. We're just doing what we can when we can. And just might as well just turn on the camera. Shane, that's a very admirable thing. So I understand. I don't have children, but that's the future, and I think that's awesome. And I'm glad that there's some stay-at-home dads that are representing the gun community. So seriously, thanks for checking us out. So I'll let this go for another few minutes. And Monty, no, as said earlier, this is an Ed Brown. It shoots real well. I mean, it's got target sights on it. I'm not a huge fan of target sights. It's what they shipped it with. The lighting and all that's not that good. Since it's just pretty much a range toy, I keep the target sights on it. But if I was going to shoot it, for anything even moderately, professionally or seriously, I'd put some fixed ledge stuff on it. So, Bill, no, it's not a Rock Island, but actually, I hear really good things about the Rock Island 1911s. Let's see here. This gun, this Ed Brown. Someone asked how much it costs. You know what? I'm just learning something else. Maybe when I'm answering comments, maybe I should actually read the comment so people who are watching the video know what the hell I'm talking about. So, Ed Brown guns. Ed Brown guns are expensive. It's what they are. So I mean, they're not economical at all. So, what's the best pistol and caliber to start my 9-year-old daughter to start out on? From Shane. Honestly, I would think a 22. Look, a 9-year-old can handle a 9mm. That's not the issue. What you want to do is anybody that's new around guns, you don't want any recoil, and honestly, you don't want a lot of blast or a lot of noise. The noise can be as off-putting as anything. So what you would consider okay for a little kid physically, they can handle it, especially if you're watching them. Honestly, a little 22 rifle. I mean, my first memory as a kid. My youngest gun memory is, I don't even remember how old I was. I must have been very, very, very young, maybe 3 or 4. My grandfather on the family farm took me out, and we out by the chicken coop, and he brought out his 22 rifle, and I think it was a single shot. He let me put one round. He loaded it, put one round in it. We fired it, and then he put it away. and that was probably the worst thing he could have done, because ever since then I've wanted Grandpa to get that gun out, and I've never stopped wanting Grandpa to get that gun out. So I ended up, that's why, I guess we have all this and we're gun guys. So, Danny taking a break from our liberal bashing. Glad there's something worth watching. That's pretty funny, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Jeremy comes in. Star my kids at 10:22. They loved it. Yeah, to 22. I mean, I would even think about. I'm not. I used to teach. I'm not really big on teaching anymore. I would, even if you had a 10:22 and you want to start a kid, I'd put one bullet in it. Especially any new person, it's just kind of a deal I have. I mean, just put one bullet in a gun, and obviously you have to control them and control the gun and control them physically so they don't lose, they fall over or do whatever. But if you can get one round downrange into the backstop, and something goes terribly wrong, it's not going to end up being a big problem. So. Let's see here. Monty, I've always wanted a 45, but they are a pretty penny in California, I've heard. I'm trying to buy something, everything as a California watch. I was getting an M&P Smith & Wesson. They don't sell them in California no more. Wanted a 22 M&P for my daughter. So I'm actually, I have to reach up and touch the camera because the comments are getting so large. I wasn't sure. I couldn't read it all. So, yeah, I mean, California sucks. I just couldn't even stand to live there. And, professionally, there's a lot of opportunities that, why you may have to go to California. So, that would just be terrible. So let me touch the camera a little bit more and see if it'll make me go. Moshia, I can't say her name, I apologize. How do you feel about the Ruger 45? I'll tell you this, Freeze loves Rugers. He loves the price point, and the Ruger 45 1911. Ruger doesn't have the best, not the best reputation. How do I say this? Ruger doesn't have the reputation that a lot of, say, the top tier tactical, high dollar companies have. But from a manufacturing standpoint, there isn't a firearms company in the United States that has the manufacturing technology that Ruger has. Ruger has such high level manufacturing, they actually do some work for outside industries outside the firearms because the other companies pay them to do it. So, and any 1911, if you're going to get a 1911, you're going to have to be a self-rescue guy. There's just so many variables, magazines and, springs and bullets and bullet weights and extractor tension and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's just, I don't care really who makes a 1911. I don't care if it's a $5,000 gun. You're going to have to be able to chase function in it. So, I guess the reason why this is out is Camp Perry had just wrapped up not that long ago, and while I was up there at the Springfield building on Vendors Row, I saw some brand new 9mm 1911 magazines. They were a little expensive, but I needed them. I only really had one mag for this gun, so I needed some more. So I went ahead and bought, I think that's Metgar. I think that's a Metgar mag. I don't know if anybody can see that. Is that with the glare? That's Metgar, isn't it? So, all right. Shane, I prefer Kimber 45. The only problem is the price. I own two, and total cost was around $2,700. Shane, I will tell you this. The very first, I'd say, quality 1911, well, I don't know if it's the first. I had a stainless gold match. I guess the Kimber guys would call it a Series 1. And that was, hands down, the most accurate 1911 I have ever owned. It was more accurate than a $7,000 1911 that I had gotten years later. Now, in all, full disclosure, you know, I shot that gun so much, I did have some odd parts breakages on it, but it was a, you know, a high round count gun, and it, you know, any gun's gonna look. Ferrari has a service department, you know, but I did have one part that wore down on the Kimber Gold match, that I've never seen wear down on another gun, even like a surplus, you know, Army gun that was 80 years old. That particular part hadn't worn down, so you know they're. You know, I mean, just there's not a 1911 you can buy that you're not going to be chasing function somehow. So, Shane, I'm in law enforcement. Springfield wouldn't back their product. That's what the problem with Springfield. You know, yeah, you know, I don't know a whole lot about that. These magazines. Springfield sets up because they do the M1A matches up there and the Grand matches up there at Camp Harry. You know, these were just happen to be in there. As far as law enforcement in Springfield, I will say this: Springfield XD for law enforcement. A lot of people probably can't. That's probably not a good choice. So for you know, for reasons I'm not going to get into now. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Glock 19 gold standard. Yeah, I mean I've got a couple of them. Brian STI Spartan. I'm familiar with STI. I'm familiar with a Spartan. Never had one. Never fired one. Don't have any real experience with it. So let me go ahead and scroll up here a little bit. And thanks to Nate. You're doing great. Great man. Keep up the Armory. Thank you. I appreciate it. And let me try to. Let's see here. Oh, Shane talks about getting an M&P. Actually, we discussed that on the podcast yesterday. Went live this morning. It appears that Smith & Wesson has filed a trademark request with the federal government for something called the M&P 2.0. The industry reporters are talking about that. I mean, I assume it's probably an upgraded M&P, but you know, who knows? You know, they're trying to. You know, Smith & Wesson has really done a good job as far as fighting back and taking back a lot of the Glock law enforcement business, and so maybe they've looked around and they've seen guns like the VP9 with the phenomenal ergonomic options the VP9 has, and maybe Smith & Wesson has upgraded their frame to make it more configurable than even the current one. So I don't know that. I don't have any inside information on that. It's just a guess. I mean, if I worked at Smith & Wesson and I made an M&P, that would probably upgrading the trigger and trying to always be as ergonomic as I could be would be my first two priorities, you know, on the next generation guns. So, Raymond, what's your opinion on the 96 A1? Oh, the Beretta, oh, that's a great gun. I mean, you know, DASA, you run into some issues. I remember when those first came into the country, I was at SHOT Show with an old coworker of mine, and I had a rail on it. Those are nice guns. Monty, you wish you had NRA support in California? I think you do, but I just think I think you're just overwhelmed. Actually, I mean, I'm old enough to remember most of the gun magazines and a lot of the custom firearms business that we all know today originated in California. I mean, the greatest gun, I mean, you know, it was, you know, all these custom guys and magazines are all in Southern California. It was a big area of publishing and a big area for custom gun work. And then there was even a guy who was famous. He was a custom revolver guy in New York City. So, you know, in the 60s and 70s. So, I mean, just, you know, I mean, it was there. I mean, there's a long-standing tradition of gun culture in California that goes way deep. And it's really a shame to see what's happened in California. Steve, very ugly camo. Yeah, I agree. It's a particular style. It's just something easy because black doesn't really exist in nature unless it's a black bear coming at me. So, you know, I just striped it and moved on. So, you know, I spray paint my guns. I don't do I don't pay to have them shake and baked. So yeah, I agree. I mean, either like it or you don't. Oh, Omar, Reading, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Thanks for checking in. I can't. I'm still surprised that I'm still here. So let's see here. Oh, Nathan. Nathan, what rifle was that? This is a Blaser Tactical 2. It's a straight pull gun. It's the military target precision version of their R93 rifles. They've discontinued these rifles. These were brought into the United States by SIG, so occasionally you'll see them as the SIG Tactical 2, SIG Sauer Tac 2. You'd even, if you were to go to the SIG Academy up in Exeter, New Hampshire, you'd see instructors with these guns until very recently. This is a 4 caliber option, 223, 308, 300 mag, 338, and then there's an LRS version which is compatible with their hunting guns. It's got like 28, 30 some calibers and whatever, but not 338 because it's not big enough. This one was beefed up really for the 338, so that's what it exists for some military and law enforcement contracts they tried to bid for. Monty, thanks. We try. I mean, we're not we're not God's gift to the planet, but we're just a couple gun guys like we're pretty much everyone else out there shooting guns and having fun. So, let's see here. What are your thoughts on the ACR versus AR-15? AR-15 all the way. Sorry, I hate to say it, but I mean, it's just AR-15. Yeah. I mean, look, if you want we have guns in the Armory. We didn't pick up an ACR. We have guns in the Armory. I'm in the rifle room now. That we keep as familiarization pieces. Guns that are out of production. You may run into traveling around or whatever. An ACR, it's certainly I mean, if you want a gun as a piece of history and you want to run it to have it because you like it floats your boat. Hey man, buy that gun. That's be great. And here's the thing: if you're going to run an ACR all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, and run an AR-15 all day, every day, twice on Sunday, you're probably going to have a harder logistics issue with the ACR. But let me go ahead and say this, and this is where some of the gun snobs will kick your ass. And I don't like what they have to say. If the ACR floats your boat, if that's the gun that gets you to the range and you shoot it, man, buy that gun. I'd rather you get a gun that you want to shoot and get you shooting than buy a gun that bores the hell out of you that you're not shooting that much. Let's see here. Largo, Florida. Chris. Any thoughts on Kimber 1911s? Yeah. I had good luck with a lot of Kimber 19s. I've had a lot of Kimber 1911s. I've had the Series 1 stainless gold match from like 97. That was one of the early ones. And I've had a bunch of the CDP guns. The full size. I had the Pro, which is their version of a Commander. And then their Ultra, which is their officer size. Actually, oddly enough, I'll tell you this. The ultra-sized gun, their officer's gun of the Kimber CDP series that I had, was more accurate than their Commander size. And also, I feel that Kimber does a good job with their Commander guns using a bull barrel because I think it makes it a little bit more reliable. Especially if you want to go for like a 4-inch as opposed to a 4 1/4 inch, a true Commander. You'll see that a lot of companies, a true Commander 4 1/4, they'll do the bushings. But if you get any shorter than that, you'll see them switch to the bull barrel. There's a reason for that, and that's that was always a question people have with Kimbers. I figured I better bring it up. What's your thoughts on the RIP rounds? Junk. There you go. So, it's a gimmick. I am touching the camera, and Just go looking through the comments. So, all right, I'll tell you what. I can't see how long we've been on. It's not giving me a count. It just tells me how many people, and I can see your comments. So this has been a good test. I appreciate everybody, coming in. Actually, I didn't think anybody would be here. I was just going to record it and then see what I could do with it later. So this is the test episode of, I don't know, Armory Chat or whatever we're going to call it. I mean, who knows? We may call it something else later. So this is Freeze's idea. Freeze has been pushing, pulling me, kicking and screaming into social media. So now we're doing live feeds from the Armory. So oh, thanks, Jonathan. 25 minutes. Really? Has it been 25 minutes? Man, okay, Nate, I see that too. Okay. All right, well, guys, this wraps up episode 1 of the test of the live from the Armory chat. So thanks everyone who stopped in and participated. And when we do these, I promise there'll be firearms and interesting equipment and just whatever's going on. So, but doesn't matter if I'm sitting here and I'm doing something and you want to talk about politics or you want to talk about equipment or some gun you got. If I know about it, I'll answer the question. If not, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. So, oh, real quick, Jonathan, how often will you be doing these? Don't know. This is the first one. We do the podcast once a week. I don't know. I mean, in theory, I could do these 5 days a week at least. We'll see. We'll just see what kind of interest there is. I just don't know. So, I mean, but the thing is, too, if you miss them, I believe when you record a podcast, not a podcast, when you record a Facebook Live video, that it stays on Facebook. But also what we'll probably do is we'll probably host them on our servers because I don't trust Facebook, and I think they're going to shut it down. They're going to shut all the gun stuff down, but that's a conversation for another time. So, all right, well, hey, this wraps it up. Everyone, thanks for stopping by. This is awesome, and we'll see you around next time. Thank you.